he's talking about, he's in a manic type of state. That's how they typically act, like out of the norm, or become really like religious, comparing themselves to God and stuff like that. So some, I think that he was doing a lot of stuff to Kim. Like, and she probably was just like, I'm not taking this shit no more. Like, you don't want to take your medicine? I keep trying. You don't want to do it. That's exhausting. So, mm-mm.
Well, that I think
I
that was
agree
his
with you
problem.
there,
He
Ash,
wasn't
because
he
I've
wasn't taking.
experienced someone that was like literally somebody that has 4 or 5 degrees, like normal for the most part. But whenever she would have manic episodes, she would do crazy stuff like go inside her neighbors, like ring her neighbor's doorbell, go inside the house, knock all her neighbor's stuff down. Like she would literally have like these manic episodes where she would be like talking out of her mind. And I think that that is a lot to deal with. Like that was one of my family members, and it was hard for me to watch, right? So I can only imagine being in a relationship with someone that has that level of what he has, because there's levels to it. And I think his level of bipolar is when he goes on these manic episodes, it's ridiculous. And he hasn't had anybody solid around him since his mom passed away.
Except for his wife, because I feel like she did a good job at keeping him sane. I just feel
I
like he
feel
was
like
taking
Kim
that
was
for
doing the
granted.
best that she could too.
Yeah, I feel like he was taking it for granted, and that's the point that I think that was Kim breaking point. Like, I'm not doing this no more. But she also have to realize, especially during their divorce, Kanye West, like she said, like to Ash's point, when he is upset, he gonna spaz. But he has his reasonings for being upset to me be valid though. And it's just like that goes back to the point they was trying to say yesterday when a woman has Kim has her career built up to a certain point, to the point that she want to pass it down to her daughter, and that's not what Kanye is about. He's not for that. And when he starts seeing things behind the scenes going on in Hollywood, going on around his daughter, he really tried to take a different route with it, but he wasn't getting anywhere with it. So that's when he tried to get the public involved, because they both rich, they both got the same amount of resources and connections. So that's when I think Kanye West really tried to like, yeah, he's fast. And honestly, it did look bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I feel like when it comes down to his family, his beliefs, what he stand on, his music, his clothing line, just things that he's built that's part of his brand, you could tell he'll spaz for that shit. He'll die for that shit. You could tell he that type of person. And it do get to a point where it's like, okay, bro, you tweaking out. Like you're having a breakdown. Like you got to calm down. Because first you'll preach love, but then you go back on your word and then speak all this hate to speak to a specific point. Even when he said that shit about the Jews, you like love everybody but hate the Jews. He even had to come back and recant his statement. And this was before they took his billions when he first recanted his statement. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like they both didn't appreciate each other, but they was low key balancing each other out for the time period they was together. It's just they had a lot of shit to work on, like a lot of shit.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that he was saying was very hypocritical. First, he was saying he believed in Jesus, and then he made a Bible called the Book of Jesus, of Yeezy, right? And then everywhere you see Jesus' name, he put Yeezy. That's blasphemous, you know? Then he went on a rant saying that he was angry at God because God took away his money and stuff like that. So it was mad weird. Then you're mad at your wife, so you leak where your kids go to school at. So then she had to change the kids' school. So I get exactly what Kim is saying. So it's just like that's exhausting to have to try to deal with somebody who don't want to take their medication, right? And then especially when people are in a manic type of state, they don't trust anybody. So and then you're trying to get them medication, they think you're trying to harm them, but it's just like, I'm trying to help you, you don't want to listen. And then normally when people have like manic episodes, they be having like power of attorneys and stuff. So we don't know who was his power of attorney, like, or who was making his decisions for him. It was weird.
I remember when he leaked her address, but that's because he did ask her. He said, "I begged this lady, I don't send my kids to these schools. I know what type of kids they raise. I know." He felt, I don't know if this is true or not, but he felt like some schools out there in Hollywood breed kids to be a certain way and breed them with a certain behavior, and it had a religious background. I guess he didn't agree. She wasn't trying to do that. I'm like, nah.
Hey guys, y'all know we on live, right?
Are we?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, why didn't I have cameras on?
I don't know. Cause y'all thugs.
Hello.
All right, let me go ahead and do this introduction.
They living that thug life, man. and look at Aisha agreeing with it.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
Good.
I almost feel like we had a little pre-Grammy red carpet moment before we got the show started today. Right.
At least you know we were here, energized, active, ready to talk.
Yeah, all that good stuff, man. Oh, she hit the wrong button. Anyhow, it's good to see you guys, man. Happy Wednesday to all. Thank everybody that is here currently right now. What's going on, Jolie? Mrs. Hink, how you doing? Hot Positive T. What's going on? Shannon Duncan, the key maker. Christopher Matthews. Welcome. As you guys come in, do me a favor, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are catching this on a replay, hit the like button. That's all you got to do. That's all I'm asking for. Also, shout out to the sponsor, Tiege Hanley. Uncomplicated skincare for men. You guys get 40% off along with a free gift. And if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. This is men's skincare. You see, they got all type of goodies, man. Deodorant, lotion. We got the sponge you can wash up with, lip balm, AM, PM moisturizer. They have everything. All your skincare needs. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. Again, the link is in the description. How y'all feeling on this Wednesday? Long day? Easy day? A little bit of some everything, huh?
Yeah, long day. Definitely a long day.
You had a long day, Di?
Yes, long and busy.
What makes the day long? Is it the amount of work that you're doing? Or is it just time is going slow?
The amount of activities I have to do in a day. I feel like the more places that I have to go and the more places I have to speak or attend to, that's what makes it. I could do one place for a certain amount of time, then another. But when you got to go like 4 different places, it's like, okay, it's making it tiring at this point.
So is this a true statement? Everybody around you is lazy but you?
I feel like the people around me is busy. Like it's hard for me to keep up. Like I want to call Di, but I just ain't had the time. Long day for me. I coach cheer, so I have to deal with little 7 and 8 year old girls and their parents. It's really the parents. So that's a long day for me. And then I work hard. I do payroll for the entire company, so I have to get it down to the last million, last cent. And it was just a long day. Like my job was hard, then cheer, then my daughter, then she had homework, and then I cooked. So now I'm here. I guess it's the amount of tasks you can complete in one day. So it was a long day. Wednesdays are hard now. So
Aisha, you can't count Dino Nuggets as cooking, man. You can't do that. You know better than that.
No, I actually made had made some homemade it's like my mom's recipe, some homemade like chicken soup, because I'm trying not to eat trying to be healthy. But so I cut everything up. Like I put fresh dill, rosemary, I put thyme, I put bay leaves, like I took the time to like make soup. You know what I mean? Chicken noodle soup is easy to make, so 45 minutes, whatever. But
yeah, but you're speaking a foreign language to a lot of ladies right now, right?
No, that's
I've been cooking, Hank. I've been cooking.
One pot meal. Like that's not even. It's not gonna even take you less than an hour. If anything less than an hour to me is easy.
God, he's not talking about us. Don't take it personally.
Oh, I'm not talking about.
No, at first I didn't cook. That's why he said that. I wasn't cooking, but I've been cooking recently. I've been in the kitchen, and my nephew used to say at first, like, my auntie can't cook. He was like, this is good. I said, oh, that's 2 for 2 dishes. Let's go. I'm in there. I'm
Now
working.
you gotta be able to take care of yourself, nourish yourself. That's the easy task.
Yeah, I've been working on. I've been coming up with my own recipes. Like I got my own stir fry, and the whole family. When I say love it, I could make 8 chicken breasts. And there's no leftovers. I use the chicken. I do everything from scratch. The broccoli, the vegetables. I cut it up. We got my Italian dressing seasoning. I season that and make it to one good stir fry. Oh yeah, that's my specialty.
But don't make a big deal out of not, cooking. If you can order some good takeout, I got some friends that, man,
That's some bullshit. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, no, we're gonna stop you right there. Y'all was doing good till you went and said that bullshit. No, go
some takeout.
Yeah, no, we ain't finna do that tonight.
When you cook all the time.
Hey, Vince, Aisha said you gonna take his DoorDash and be happy. That's crazy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this show started, man. Again, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. So let's go and get into this Irv Gotti situation, man. So I believe in 2024, maybe August, Irv Gotti suffered a stroke, and he was walking with a cane. That was reported by WAC 100 to TMZ. So it seemed like he may have had a history of health concerns and health issues that was going on, which is unfortunate. I know last night when we was doing the broadcast, I did see a post that 50 Cent had put up. That was like one of the first sources that I seen, or any as far as information of him being in a hospital, and it wasn't looking good. So this was the post that 50 Cent put up right here. Irv Gotti on life support, friends and family saying their goodbyes. I'm like, damn, right? The report, Irv Gotti on life support, and that is something that's serious. And if you look at the very bottom right there, 50 Cent said, damn, I wanted him to see my new stories, yo. In the comments in there, they were going pretty crazy. Let me see if I can get to some of these comments. But they didn't really like what 50 Cent said. They took it as a diss. Wu Chow. If we went until we die was a person. If to the death was a person, it's Curtis. You gotta love it, his voice. If you tried to kill me, trust I'm going to piss on your grave every time your body be come around and no love. The fact that people are laughing at this is disturbing. So somebody else said beef with 50 is like a successful marriage till death do us part. Heart colder than a polar bear's toenails. This ninja don't give a F. Remember, Irv was calling DMX Crackman X when DMX was at the lowest. Not saying this is karma, but that was foul of him. So news just broke not too long ago that Irv Gotti has passed away. He has passed away by multiple sources. I can't confirm this. I haven't seen anything solid, but there's things circling around that he has transitioned. If that is true, my condolences to the parents, if he had children, and all the loved ones around them. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's talk about this 50 Cent situation. So we know they had beef, all the drama that's been going on back and forth. But do you think this is that's a bit too much when he's making mockery or making jokes or being funny when somebody's on their deathbed? Let's go ahead and get into it.
I think go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's bad karma. Like, even if you really don't care about that person, and for some people, once it's up, it's stuck, right? So they just really don't care, and they will take it to the grave. But I think that's just tasteless. It looks bad on you. This man is at his last string of life. And I really don't know a lot about the beef between 50 Cent and Irv Gotti, but why feel the need to say anything about it? You could have just left it what it was. But 50 Cent is very petty all the way around. So it's not surprising to see this from him, but I just think it's unnecessary. He could have left that to himself.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Ty. Yeah, it can definitely be seen as tasteless. But if this person did make an attempt on my life and say, hey, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's hey, that shit to the grave, and even past the grave. If I'm still here, I'm gonna troll you the whole time too. You know, so I really can't knock it. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle with it. I think Irv kind of set itself up for it. I watched a couple clips of him on Drink Champs, and you know, he had this fascination to be tougher, you know, to give this persona of what he wanted people to think of him compared to what he really was, you know, and that should have bite you in the ass in the long run. You know, you do that, you pull something like that when you come across a guy that's like 50, you know what I'm saying? He may not hit you back and try to get you, you know, get you back physically, but nigga, I'm gonna troll you until you check out of this mob. And I mean, that's part of the game. It come with the territory.
All right, what about you? Go ahead, Dad.
I feel like when it comes to that type of stuff, like them in the streets taking each other's life, like it's similar to like how I think a lot of women be in the hood, like some of us, like who's in the middle, who don't pick a side, who not gang banging. Once we start growing up and the beef get real in high school, and you like, calm down, y'all gonna kill each other. We used to play with each other in grade school. But when you hear it from a man point of view, like what Viz said, once you try to take my life, it's up and it's stuck. Like there's no, and it's sad because I feel like that's what continues the cycles in our community. Like beef get passed down and all that good stuff. But when you seeing it from like a man's point of view, I guess, where it's up and stuck like that, it's like trolling him is the least he could do. Like, you know how much money and power this man have. So it's like, and I'm surprised that's all he said. Like, damn, I want to show you my TV shows. Like 50 Cent be going hard. So to me, that was a small troll compared to what he usually do. But like, I don't agree with it, but I guess I understand it because it's like we not men, we not fighting for our lives, we're not having nobody shooting at us. But if somebody shot at me, shit, God will really have to touch my heart because you tried to take my life. So it's like at that point, do you mature? I don't know.
All right, go ahead, Ash.
I don't agree with it at all. I feel like it was very tasteless. 50 Cent is just he's just a nasty individual, even to his own son. So I definitely don't agree with that. Somebody's on their deathbed and they're about to take their last breath. Like, so especially that shit happened like over 20 years ago. I want to say around that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying like you gotta forget, but at some point it's just like I'm still here or whatever. It's a time for everybody to grow. It's just like, all right, I made it. I'm making my millions. I'm doing better than him. Blase, blase. You don't do that. I think that was just like really fucked up. You know, I respect 50 Cent as an artist, but as a person, I just can't. I just don't like his spirit. Like he's just a nasty individual. Like I don't like him.
Hey, to keep it a buck though, if you really, I don't know if y'all have read any of his books or even tuned in to any of his interviews, but 50 is actually a solid dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to give you chance after he damn near going to give you at least 2 chances before you hang yourself.
So I am a 50 fan. Like, I know that he be trolling and a lot of people, you know, don't like him, like just like they don't like Donald Trump, right? But I feel like it's no rules in fighting. Like it's no, Like, he doesn't have to, because I'm a Cancer. So I got a cousin that's like my first cousin. I ain't talked to her 13 years to this day. Like, if I'm done, we're done, right? And I feel like if the truth hurts, you live in a lie. 50 states facts, right? Everything that he said is a fact. This man tried to take my life. Irv Gotti, we should be talking about the things that Irv Gotti has done, right? And all the foul shit, because I believe that whatever you put out in the universe, you get that back. The way he did Ashanti, just like all the foul things that he's done. That's why he was broke, because nobody wanted to work with him. He burned all of his bridges. I know that people say like, oh, don't speak ill of the dead. I don't care about that, because you're not going to get up in here in this funeral and act like he was a saint when he did all of this foul ass shit in the street. Like, oh, they cry. No. Pookie got shot because Pookie went over there and shot them people, other people up, and they came back and shot him up too. We are going to have to tell the truth. And I feel like people don't like 50 because he tells the truth. He does not like that man. He has never liked him. Irv Gotti literally wanted to kill him. Like, tried to have him killed. So I think that a lot of stuff he do is for the media, so we can sit up and talk about it, and he can get 50,000 comments on IG. But I don't necessarily feel fucked up about what 50 did. Like, the man tried to kill you, and now, karma has reached in at his back door, and it has opened up and creeped into him. Because Irv Gotti has did a lot of things that I feel personally are beyond me. And I think that people have to remember that. And also people have to remember that 50 does this. So it's just who he is. But I'm not going to not like him because somebody tried to kill him and they was on their deathbed and he made a joke. Like, it is what it is. And I feel like if you ain't never like researched it and you ain't watched interviews or read his books or know the full story, then it's kind of hard for you to have an opinion about someone trolling someone on Instagram that happened to pass away. Like RIP Irv Gotti. I think that he did a lot of great things. Like, we got Murder Inc. from him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to try to belittle the accomplishments that he made for us in our community, right? He did some great things, but I also am not going to turn a blind eye to the things that he did do to his people as well in that process. And the fact that he tried to have this man killed, like, that's just enough. And he wasn't even a real gangster. Let's start there. 50 was.
What? I want to say, I just want to kind of rebuttal, right? I don't feel like when people say like, oh, that person passed away, that's their karma. Death is due to all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like death is a type of karma thing.
No, I didn't mean that death was his karma. I meant the fact that he died broke and he didn't really have shit when he died and how he died. I didn't say death, it was his karma, because yes, we all have death coming. So I'm not looking at death as karma. I'm looking at the way his life ended at the end and where he was, because he really wasn't on shit.
I think that's still subjective, but I also feel like when a person, right, even if somebody did something back to you, right, or somebody did something to you, you retaliate towards them, you're still putting out the same energy that's still going to return to you. You get what I'm saying? That's just the law of the universe, period. Whether you say, oh, this person did this to me and I'm doing this back to them, you're going to return that same energy to you. That's my whole thing. I still don't feel like, I get it. It's certain people that did shit to me too that I would never fuck with ever again in my life. But guess what? I'm not getting on the internet and saying nothing about them. Guess what? You don't exist to me, right? I'm not about to get on the internet and be like, oh, that person passed away. Oh, this her karma. I'm not doing that. It don't matter. You get what I'm saying? I don't harbor energy like that inside of me. I think that's when a lot of people become spiteful, vengeful. Like that shit is weird. Like, to me, if you really don't fuck with somebody, then don't fuck with them. You don't got to get on the internet and worry about their every move. Like, oh, this person going through this shit. They going through this because they did to me. You did shit fucked up to people too. So aren't you going to get karma too? That's how that works. Everybody's going to get karma, whether it's good or bad. So I just feel like to sit up there and just be like, oh yeah, this person is going to get bad karma, or he's got bad karma. Everybody's going to get their bad karma. Everybody's going to get their good karma. So it's just kind of like, just sit back and just be like, damn, that's fucked up. sympathy doesn't cost people anything. Like passing away, period, is a bad thing, or just for somebody's children or somebody's, you know, their parents or whatever the case may be. Like it's a sad thing, and then to have a big following and to put that up there, that shit is whack. It's corny. I think any man, to me, that's on the internet trolling about anything is a bitch. And excuse my language, but that's just how I feel about that. It's weird.
I feel like they both signed up for the same game when you think about it. It's like, that's just like when you in the streets. You can't be like, oh, I'm finna gang bang today and go shoot these people, but I want to go to work tomorrow. Like, you can't do that. So it's like, from what I'm hearing, Irv Gotti was doing the same thing. He was trolling 50. He tried to kill him because of some beef, tried to step into some shit that he had no business doing. And instead of respecting his, like, instead of him playing his role, he tried to get big with 50. And when it comes down to this game, like, once you become a troll, once you doing the stuff that, it's like 50 doing back to Irv what Irv was doing to him. They both was playing the same game. And now that he's on his deathbed, people like, no, play a different game. And it's like, why would they? Like, states, like, especially if you beefing with 50 Cent, like, you got to know who you beef with. You can't beef with somebody and try to kill somebody and be like, oh, it's time for you to mature. It's time for you to grow up. It's time for you. Like, I feel like at some point we as a community, though, we do have to do that, because that's the reason why beefs will continue. But if you're once Irv starts signing up for that, that's what men do. And then it's like, it sounds like you want him to, like, I feel like females, we get over it. We be like, that's okay, we'll get through. You know, you feel me? I let that shit go. That shit petty. I'm not gonna entertain it. But I put out like what's gonna come back to me. Niggas live for that shit. Like, they do war. Like, this is it's just something I noticed within men, especially when they beefing to that extent. They not letting that shit go, especially if you already tried to kill them. Like, they not letting that shit go. And like I said, based on who 50 is, the least he's doing right now is troll. Like, that wasn't even a big troll to me. Like, and it is, I do feel like it's tasteless. I do feel like it's classless. But the more I follow 50 and the more I got into things outside his tastelessness and classlessness, I agree with Viz. He's actually like a decent, down-to-earth person. He don't be on the shit that most people in Hollywood be on. That's the reason why he is financially successful as he is. So it's like, Irv, I get, like, that's why I get Aisha point. If you was such a good person and if your karma wasn't bad, then where's the product of your fruit? Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have as much fruit as 50 Cent had, if that make any sense. So it's like, yeah, 50 Cent, like, yeah, basically like his I told you so moment. Man, he do it for all, like, everybody. That's just who 50 Cent is. Like, I told you, like, you should have listened to me, bro. I told you.
The other part of it too is that we have to keep in mind there's some men will play the game, and once the rabbit has the gun, it's, oh, woe is me, right? And then some men are like, hey, you know what, you got me on that one, but I got you on the next one. And 50 is that dude. So I understand what y'all saying, but that's living in a fairy tale gingerbread world where everybody is perfect and everything is peaches and rainbows and all the others. In real life, no, that's not how that shit work. In entertainment, especially entertainment, streets, all that shit being mixed, that's not how that shit works. So even if somebody was to get the upper hand on 50, 50 not gonna look for, he's not gonna look for sympathy or empathy. He gonna be like, oh, okay, bet you got me, but you ain't gonna get me next time. And I definitely got something for you. So to me, I mean, it's part of the game. You know, all this fan love and war.
Y'all talking like 50 Cent is still in the streets. He's not. Like, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, 50 ain't in the streets. He's not.
That ain't no, but it's not no street shit though. But that's the whole point. It's not no street shit.
Kind of like, no, but I'm just saying, like, certain people was talking like he's in the streets. He's not in the streets. This happened like over 20 years ago. That's my whole point. It's like, for me, right? I fuck with Jay-Z. I like Jay-Z. I like him as a person. He did what he did, whatever. But I like how he moved. You get what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, you ain't gonna see Jay-Z on the internet kicking nobody down. Whatever he say outside of the internet, whatever, that's what he says, but he's not bringing it to the internet to do that. I'm just saying, once you get in a certain type of status, right? Because Irv and 50 not even on the same level. Once you just kind of start making bigger and bosser moves, you don't even got to do all of that. Like, I already won, bro. It's not. What am I getting out of it? It's weird.
That's part of his character.
Exactly.
Just how we was talking
He's
about.
weird.
Just
It's
how we was talking about with
weird.
Kanye.
It's weird and it's miserable.
No, everybody say that Kanye is crazy. He not on his meds. I personally believe that Kanye realized that if I play this character, this is how I win. This is how I stay on top. This is how I stay relevant. 50 early in his career, I forgot what song it was. He said, "America has a thing for gangsters or bad guys or something like that." Right? This is a fact. So just off the strength of him understanding that, he's playing his role, and I can't knock him for it. I haven't seen him troll somebody that didn't deserve it. I'll say that.
Pretty deep. Go ahead.
We need to go back and look, because Irv started this bullshit. I mean, like you said, he threw down a gauntlet and tried to take the man's life. But we also got to remember how Irv treated DMX now when he was going through his situation and he passed. You know, he took a shot at him. So it's all fair, man. I mean, you can't expect that. And you took shots at another a rapper who you had an issue with, mad because you didn't sign him to your label. Let's go back. Like I said, originally, if y'all, I don't know if y'all ever seen the Murder Inc. documentary that they had on, I think it was BET or something like that, and he talked about how 50 Cent was supposed to get signed with P. Diddy and them, and of course, Irv Gotti was working with P. Diddy during that time and didn't want to sign him. And that's when it really started, right then and there. And then ever since then, he 50 made it his job to whoever, when he Irv Gotti became a producer, whatever rapper he put out, he's gonna kill him out. So Ja Rule was a victim of circumstance, and so he tore his ass up every time he could get a chance. And so that situation just kept going on and on. It had nothing to do with Ja Rule. It had nothing to do with nobody in Murder Inc. It was because of Irv Gotti. He's the one that threw it down. Now they saying it's probably because he was friend with Supreme, and supposedly 50 robbed one of his boys from Supreme. There's a reason why Irv Gotti had an issue with him. I'm like, dude, that's not even your situation. That has nothing to do with you, but you want to take somebody else's disagreement or issue and make it yours. You're not that dude. So look, I don't think it was I probably would have let this slide. If it was me personally, I wouldn't have said nothing about it there. I would just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was the last, tweet or message I sent would have been it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he's gone, I'm here. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I understand how you feel, but I wouldn't have took a shot on that man's deathbed, nothing like that. But that's a different subject. But as far as 50, look, 50 gonna troll to the end. 50 gonna troll to the end. I mean, he's trolling Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? Rick Ross getting that smoke
right now. Yeah, he on Big Meat Chills right now. But even going back to Irv though, when he was on Drink Champs, he said some off the wall ass shit about Ashanti. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say that's why during the time that Ashanti and Nelly was married, got remarried, she pregnant with a baby, and he's on Drink Champs gossiping like a little girl. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, to me, that says a lot about this man's character. So whatever it is that he's receiving, hey man, you made your bed, you got to lay in it.
$50 said,
Mike muted.
Maybe 50 Cent said niggas die every day, B. He ain't really.
Yeah, I mean it's a cold world, but I get it. I personally wouldn't want to be playing around when somebody's up on their deathbed, but I get it. That's just the way it is, man. When you doing dirty things out here, and you out here, it's a possibility that can happen. So you just have to understand the consequences up on both sides in life. So if you want to play around with somebody, it's a possibility they're gonna play around with your loved ones. So it is what it is. I know one of y'all had brought up about. No, go ahead. Somebody want to say something before I move on?
I was gonna say I'm sure he's got a few artists on that Murder Inc. Label that probably is feeling the same way 50's feeling. I tell you that he's got probably about 2 or 3 artists on that label. That's feeling the same way about Irv Gotti passing to now. Okay, but that's all I was gonna say, Jeff.
All right. Speaking of Meech and 50, we're still on 50, right? So this is the picture right here with Meech. This is Rick Ross right here. We the biggest Big Meech and Rick Rose. Photo was posted on January 22nd. 50 Cent responded back with this picture of a rat and says, I think I'm Big Meech. The biggest mistake he ever made was not to sustain his relationship with Tammy Cohen. Her tell all docu reveals the truth. And so this is what 50 posted after seeing this photo. Rick Ross responded with this.
Take a picture with Rick Ross. You like a put your back against the wall and just slide down. Biggest boss, I've been separated myself from these broke because they don't understand the rules to the streets. You understand? Don't know owe you nothing, homie. Owe you nothing. Y'all get money together. Y'all get money. Keep moving. All that extra shit. You don't even have a relationship with your own brothers, your own mothers and fathers. How the f you gonna act like you real close with me? Stop all that fake cap. That's why you niggas got no money. You need a loan, come see the boss. When it's on, come see the boss. If hating, if I ain't said nothing to you, they want to do something to you. Hey, Curtis Jackson, you more than welcome to bring that Versace Lamborghini to the car show June 7th, and your little homies. I know them. Put them.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Continue this conversation, man. So, how you guys feeling about that, man? You think 50 get what he deserves, same way?
I don't understand. I'll fuck with 50 and Ross, but I don't understand why Ross keeps saying that the man is broke. Like he just opened up a whole studio, you know, bought it out. He has a couple shows on television. He don't even have to make music no more. You know, there's no way that 50 is broke. You know, they probably might be in the same ballpark. So I'll say I'll agree with Da, where beefs like that is unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, let's drop it. Let's get some money. You know what I'm saying? And keep it as that. But yeah, man, I fuck with Ross, but yeah, the whole beef is stupid, man. I think it's silly as hell.
What is the beef about? I just feel like all of these people are older than me, and I feel older than them because I don't understand what is going on. Like, what is everybody mad about? I feel like Ross is only saying that because he wears his money on him, and 50 Cent doesn't do that as much. He's not as flashy. So, and then I don't understand why 50 Cent is upset. Like, he's talking about canceling BMF because Big Meech hung out with Rick Ross, or like what is going on? Who cares? Like, I
personally think, this is my personal opinion, and this is because I know people that are like in Hollywood. Okay, I personally think that these beefs
okay.
These beefs are orchestrated. Like, these people are friends behind the scenes, y'all. Like, they literally will text each other and be like, hey, let's start a beef so that we can promote this new show that's going on. So everybody will tune in. Like, I think that this, because it's a few celebrities where I'm like, this beef is made up. It's not real, right? It's literally to promote their albums, and it's just going to always continue because every time they drop an album or every time they do a project, it brings attention to it. And so this is one of those things that I feel like that 50 uses in the background because he has a marketing team. Like they paying millions of dollars to these PR teams and stuff. Like this stuff is calculated. There is no real beef. You can Google how much this man is worth. We know he's not broke, right? We know that there was a beef in the beginning with the baby mama and da-da-da. But I think at this point it's about money. And I think
No,
that
they're not making no money off of that beef.
no,
I agree that.
shows. Have you ever heard like publicity is publicity? Good publicity is still publicity, right? And so
Yeah.
all of this, 50 is promoting his shows. Rick Ross gets to promote whatever he wants to promote. I just think it's a fabricated.
No,
Right?
I get what you're saying, but I was in the music industry. I'm in the film industry, so I agree with what you're saying. That's 100% true. However, this situation, they're not making no money off of this beef. You know
They
what I'm
both the
saying?
same type of person. They enjoy the
I think
back and forth. They enjoy the talking shit. Like Rick Ross around me and his baby mama. Once I seen Rick Ross going off, I'm like, he lives for that shit. Like and I agree with Aisha. Rick Ross doing it for a marketing scam, but I feel like 50 Cent, he be more so on his ego. I feel like he be so more on his ego.
Speaking of 50 Cent, they just put this up in the King Talk group chat, but this was 15 minutes ago. He says, I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. No, God bless him. LOL.
That nigga is a troll, man.
And then this is the picture that he had right behind him.
Hey, you cannot get off 50's bad side. He is not gonna let that shit down. He is
And
not
then the
gonna
terms
let that
that
shit down.
he used a lot of Chicago terms too. So it's like he's trying to use the big, like, yeah, that's his audience though. Like, I
a
don't know.
man knows how to market to the audience to keep the trolls. Like it's everybody finna watch this new show. Putting out the show with Big Mitch is, the girl. So everybody gonna tune in. I promise you that. So that's
I don't even think he has anything to do with
You
his
don't
show.
tune in regardless, man.
50 Cent got a residency, I believe, in Vegas, if I'm not. Yeah. So if anything, he would be promoting that, but I don't feel like they're promoting it. I do feel like this is a lot of banter. Like him and Rick Ross, they probably got over their stuff, but they not cool. They cordial, and they like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a little, because honestly, what they both posted wasn't really crazy. You know what I'm saying? For instance, I feel like they got like a kind of a Batman and a Joker type of relationship where it's just like, we don't like each other, but we love each other, nigga. Like, I ain't gonna hurt you, but I don't fuck with you. It's kind of like that, And I feel like it's like a little laughter between them two. Like, oh, you. But then I also feel like 50 maybe was in his ego about Big Meech hanging out with Ross, because I feel like 50 Cent is big on loyalty, especially when he cut his son off for taking a picture with the guy who shot his son. He even know who it was. So I just feel like maybe 50 is a little big on loyalty, but this right here, I don't feel like I don't feel like it's too bad. It's just like, all right, it's playful. That's how I look at it.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like smoking on the Earth Pack was worse than I was looking for him to look at my shows. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like that was worse.
That is low. I mean, but
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude said he's smoking on the Earth Pack. Now that
is low.
That's just like Aaron was talking about smoking on that Tuka pack.
Yeah,
like,
it's like making it real hood beef. You know what I mean? Like that's what you see this.
Well, they're making it relatable to the hood because neither one of them from the douche.
Neither one of them doing anything now, especially. But that's what these little thugs do when they find out when their ops got killed or something. They say they smoking on whatever. It was extremely disrespectful. But we know that 50 is disrespectful. He can be extremely disrespectful if he doesn't like you. He's one of those people I feel like that can't fake the funk. Like, if I don't like you, I don't like you, period. But I agree with Ash on you have to come to a part in your life where you feel you are above that. You can tell that to your friends. You can make jokes about it. But to post it and put it out there, like, come on now, why? Why?
Especially during this time where he got
on his dad's side. That's it.
he
Like,
got kids. He has kids, right? He got kids. I'm pretty sure he got a wife. He got a mother. He has a father, and he just passed away a couple hours ago. So to do that, if 50 Cent was in the hood, honestly, somebody would want to kill her for that, because that's really disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? Like, my mother passed away almost 3 years ago. If I hear anybody say something weird, bitch, we're fighting. Like, you's coming out your mouth crazy now. You better shut up. You know, so it's extremely, like, disrespectful. It's just like, bro, why is you doing that? You're miserable. That's all. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. You're miserable. Period.
But in those type of environments with that type of audience, it's like the person who can say that is the person, like, he proved that he got that power. He proved he got that success. And I feel like when men do that, like 50 Cent want to make sure if you gonna beef with me, you finna be forever. Like, he made people think twice about double crossing him. And I feel like even in war, in history, when it came down to leaderships, they would make the first move before they can be attacked. They're setting the board up to how they want the game to be ran and how they want the game to go. And then if you're going to have this stature, you have to, it's like he has to do things to maintain, because of his audience, he's speaking to his audience. So in order for him to keep getting this support from this certain type of audience, for them to keep supporting his power, TV shows, things like that, it's like he's adapting to the new culture of hood. Like, talking about some smoking on the earth pack, bro, that's not even your generation. Like, you really he just keeping up this facade, and I think it's to continue to support his career and the audience he's built.
Well, I don't think that he has to do that. I think that that's just who he is. And now that I'm really sitting back and thinking about it, this man lived through getting shot 9 times. That is going to change you. That's going to change everything about you. When Pac got hit, before he got hit, he was already turned up. But after he got hit, oh nigga, it was up. It didn't matter who the fuck it was. Nigga, I'm on your heels, right? So, I mean, it's smoking on the herb pack, on the Gotti pack. Yeah, that's tough. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like, man, that's it come with the game.
Nah, I wasn't. Let me tell
you, gonna respect it. If he like, I'm sorry for your loss. These little boys that's actually in the hood, like the audience he's attracting, the audience he used to be a part of, like when him being shot 9 times and living their life and he knows what it takes to, like, and that's who he, like, to Via's point, that's just probably who he is. Like, he came from that environment. He was built from this environment. My bad.
But he's no longer. It's okay. He's no longer in that environment. You get what I'm saying? He's not in that environment. This nigga is 50 years old. Like, why are you acting like you're now? It's just kind of like you're pretending. You're not in the hood. You're in a gated community with security, and you have a widespread audience. Like you just said, right? You just basically said the community needs to do better, and then you're kind of condoning it, saying 50 Cent is doing this for that. It's not cool. We're actually living in a culture where these kids is killing themselves, right? They listening to drill music over and over, saying kill, kill, kill. Yeah, I grew up on that too, where it was just like, all right, gangster rap or whatever, but it wasn't so widespread as it is now. And it was not with average day kids. You get what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, once you put yourself in a position of influence, and then he get on people podcasts and speak about, oh, he want the culture to do better. But then when somebody passed away, you want to sit here and say, I'm smoking on this, I'm smoking on that. That shit is not cool. Because the average kid say that in the hood, somebody's going to smoke their ass. That shit is not, and I don't even want to say like curse like that, but it got me pissed off because it's just like, it's ignorance. And we see that too much from the younger generation. So it's just kind of like how we were just speaking about Kanye saying like he say this and then he do the opposite. Which one is it? And Viv, I am a G Unit fan. Before they even be like, I used to listen to all of their mixtapes and everything, and watch they underground tapes. Right, 50 Cent always been like that. I think that's why he got shot. Do you not see the videos? His mouth was always crazy. It really was. Like, he didn't change. He just his money only it only amplified who he already was. But if you watch all his stuff and listen to his old music, he had a crazy ass mouth already. It's like
so right. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though. So if that's who he is, I mean, we almost can't expect for him to be something else. You know what I'm saying? That's not him being authentic and genuine. So I agree, Ash, 100%. You know, that I hate the fact that our culture, our rap culture, the drill culture, they push the whole smoking a Gotti pack and smoking a Tuka pack. You know, it started in Chicago, so I saw it happen firsthand. So absolutely, the shit disrespectful as hell. At the same time, I understand, since I came from the streets and I was in the streets. If you in the streets, you know what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just part of it. There is no woe is me when something happens to you. You know what I'm saying? You have to accept it. You make your bed, you got to lay in that motherfucker. So I believe 50 is doing that because he understands, hey, if somebody do get me, you got me. You better make sure you get me good, because if you don't, nigga, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just part of the game. And that doesn't matter even in Black culture. That happens in white culture, in the mob, the mafia. This is the ordinance of the world. This is what men do. So I understand women not to understand it, but that's just what it is. Violence is a part of our nature, and there's going to be people that's going to always partake into it. So I agree 100%. I think that it is unfortunate that he's at the level that he's at, and he has reached the achievements and accolades that he has. And for him to be at the age that he's at and still doing that, yeah, I think that it is off point. But it's like, at the same time, he's being authentic, and I can't blame him for being authentic.
And where he's successful at, can you really expect maturity? Like, he's being successful in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Even Cardi B said at some point, like, she was like, this is worse than the hood, y'all. The way they fight up here, they don't want to box. They want to do this. They hit you in other ways that really, like, in order to be successful the way 50 Cent is successful in that environment, it's probably a lot of shit he had to go through, endure, and build on his own. Like, they tried to attack him. They tried to, you know, because he didn't want to be a part of the Diddy team, or they wouldn't allow him to be a part of the Diddy team. Just hear what people had to go through when they told Diddy no, or when they was against what he did, and for him to still come out successful. I don't think 50 Cent has actually healed, and I don't even think he want to heal when you really think about it. I don't think he really cares about maturing and healing and none of that.
Don't start that healing shit.
Honestly, I don't feel like
shot 9 times. It's like
don't start that healing.
I feel like, first of all, I feel like I said, I love growing up. I loved hip hop. I loved 50 Cent. I loved G-Unit. 50 Cent got signed to a better. 50 Cent got signed to a better record label, right? Which was Interscope than Diddy's, right? If you look at all Diddy's artists, none of them are millionaires. None of them are making money. Maybe Mary J. Blige and maybe Usher, but they were signed to him for a certain period of time. But he signed to Interscope, so he had a better deal. So I don't think he's butthurt over that. He's probably like, damn, that shit saved me in the long run, honestly. And then
and he spoke out on Diddy numerous times.
I do not want to sound crazy, but this is how I feel. I do not think that is Black people culture. Our culture is not violence. I think that we adapted white people's culture of killing. That was not our ways. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to clear that up. I do not believe that.
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to say.
No,
No.
Ash.
No, that's not true.
Look what Pharaoh did to the,
Yeah,
look what
yeah,
Pharaoh
yeah.
did to
No.
to Moses and his people. He was throwing babies to the alligators. Like those are
Yeah,
our
it's
rules. This is just
always
men in war in history. That's just the men usually deal with that shit. They the ones who,
yes.
and that's why I think they
Mhm.
have this. I have to be careful what I care about, because if you care about the wrong things, if 50 Cent cared about the wrong things, I think in his head he really felt like if I cared about the wrong things, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So now he just don't give a fuck. Like if it's not about him, his business, what he got going on, and if it's going to make his business, like you said, if he can profit from this and continue keeping up a certain image, he's going to go through with it. He just not going to give a fuck. Like, and men, look at his face. Go ahead, Biz.
I was
Well,
just
look,
gonna say, I don't
y'all
think.
know
Go
50
ahead.
Cent is a mad rapper. Y'all realize that, right? He's been doing this. He came out the big time rappers ever since he came out. He took shots at him off rip. He didn't even have a name yet. He came out just take shots at rap. So I'm not
Before
surprised
he
about
got
what he's
shot.
doing. Yes,
And that was before he
I mean,
got
so
shot.
I'm not surprised what he's doing. I mean, he's living up to his persona. He's going to live it all the way. I don't care. I know Ash said, "Oh well, he's 50 years old." Oh, okay, well, he's living up persona. Now, Ash, are you mad at Snoop Dogg because he's promoting that same bullshit? He's still promoting that gang culture. He's still claiming Crip. He's still wearing his colors. Are you
It's
mad at
not.
him?
I feel like he's always going to be a Crip, but he's not outside promoting people to kill people. That's the thing, right? Just the
Oh,
same
you
way.
sound
What
like
was
a
his?
hypocrite now, baby
No,
girl.
that's
You
not a
sound like a
hypocrite. Let
hypocrite
me tell you
now.
something. I don't know where y'all from, but I'm from Newark, New Jersey, right? I hang around, right? A lot of people that was doing gang banging and stuff. Y'all don't know. You could.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, really? Yes. So I hang around people that are still actively in the gangs, right? Like Pyru and stuff like that, where I'm from. But they're still active, but they are like you can't stop a whole culture of kids, or you can't stop people from joining gangs. But what
That's
you
You say you
can
still
do,
hang around there?
wait, let me finish. But what you can do, right, is guide them and direct them and tell them, hey, you don't got to do this, you don't have to do this, or whatever. So my whole point is he's always going to be a Crip, just the same way. What was his name? Nipsey Hussle, right? He was still going to be a Crip, but he was trying to change his ways. He wasn't trying to promote the average, like, oh, you got to go out here, you got to do this, you got to kill, you got to murder. He wasn't doing that. He was changing his
That's not
mindset.
true.
But
That is
50
true.
That's not true.
50 was
So,
never a
first of all, you said you
gangbanger
still
though.
hang out with these gangsters
No.
and
So
Crips.
I'm not saying 50 was. I'm talking about Hink when he said about Snoop
Snoop.
Dogg. Yeah.
Right.
So
But
you said
I
you
would
still
say
hang
Snoop
out
Dogg
with
wasn't being. He's not authentic. He's not being himself. Just we can talk
Oh
about
no,
the Trump
he still is
inauguration
promoting.
years ago.
Every time you see him, he's wearing them colors. He doesn't
He
go without
does,
wearing some of them colors. So
but
that's
he's
a
a flip
promotion.
flopper
Whether
too.
he's doing it out loud or he's doing it subliminally. He's doing
He is
that.
a flip flopper. Just like years ago, he said anybody that would perform at Trump's inauguration is a sellout. They are Uncle Tom, this, that, and the third, and then
Jigaboo ass.
jigabooing down with Trump. So on one hand, we can say I agree with this.
Snoop can be bought.
50 Cent is authentically himself. He cannot be bought, right? Like it doesn't matter what people feel. He cannot be changed. He is going to be himself 100%. But I do think there is a time and a place, especially if we're talking about our community and the growth of our community and us getting better. We can't continue to push this rhetoric that because you come from the streets and this is how the streets run, that's what we're going to do till we die. Because when do we break the chain? When do we start a new cycle? When do we teach lessons and help our children understand that this is not the way to go, especially if we just assimilate to the same things that they do? At some point, you have to pick a side and decide that I want to elevate past this if I really want more for our Black community. Or are you okay with it the way things are because you're making money from it, because your shows represent it, and you feel that that's going to feed into your audience? If he is being true to feeding into his audience and still being somewhat of a hypocrite and falling in line with Hollywood, even though he says he is authentic in himself, then cool. continue to do what you're doing. But if you're going to preach and say that you want better for the community, then he does need to rise against it. That whole post was ridiculous, and he should really do better regardless of how he feels. Keep that between you and your circle, you and your friends. You don't have to push that narrative because it doesn't look good to the masses. It just continues to push the rhetoric that it's okay for us to continue to kill ourselves, look down on each other, and disrespect each other at our worst times. Also, I just wanted to talk to Ash about, like, Black men being violent isn't a cultural thing for Black people. I would say it's not just Black people, right? Men, period, have a history of having a violent nature. That's why, like Di stated, they were always the ones to go to war. That's why they are hunters. It's just in them innately to be violent or to get to that point where violence can be out of control. But they can also learn to harness that in 2025.
Well, women, throughout history, women also orchestrated wars and stuff too. But
but that's not historical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some. What I'm saying is some as well. But the overall, throughout our history, I can't speak on. Well, I couldn't speak on other people's history. Throughout our history, from the beginning of the time to now, that's not our aura, right? You get what I'm saying? I don't want to get up here and sound too like. But I get exactly what y'all. I get exactly what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying. But I still don't feel like that is our nature. I don't feel like
even if we talk about
that's fine. You can feel all the ways that you want to.
I get what Ash saying. The reason is probably different, but it was
documented in history.
It was for different reasons, but
one mic.
It was there.
It's documented in history. Even in biblical times, 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago, people were unaliving other people in Africa. It was Black, white, Mexican, Indians, Philistines, Hebrews, Israelite, whatever tribe, whatever nation you want to talk about, they was unaliving people. That's just what it is. Cain unalived his brother, and they was supposedly some of the first people on the planet.
And if you believe that the first people on the planet were Black,
in Africa, exactly.
We were
that's
the
what
first
I'm saying.
ones to commit murder.
So
I understand exactly what y'all saying. What I'm saying is, as a mass, right? As a mass, I don't feel like that is something that, like, you know how they'll make it, like the media will push that is Black people, but that statistically speaking, right? That's not the norm for us, right? We're not vicious or malicious people. We're not violent people, but circumstances has made us be that way. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I don't know. We don't know how long the world has been in existence for, right? But yeah, you'll see that throughout history because that is human nature. But now speaking like today, I don't feel like that is our nature. I don't feel like that's something that we kind of inherit on our own. I feel like that is something that we adapt.
I agree. I think ignorant violence was definitely inherited, because when violence was orchestrated back then, it was for power, it was for land, it was for this, it was for that. Of course, you got the low lives too, but I do agree with Ash to some point. As a culture, I don't think it was always us this ignorant as a whole, like the way they just try to put the ignorant violence on us, senseless violence on us. I could agree with her to that point, but what they're saying is this is a man thing. Like, this is what men do. You know what I'm saying? For power. It's just, unfortunately, in America right now, a lot of the power, especially when it comes to our hood, is due to clout. You know what I'm saying? It's not the reasonings are different. I can agree on that. Like,
but even still, to your point, Di, maybe they felt at that time it was for higher power, larger land. But you can argue that some of these kids in the hood are fighting for the same thing, right? They want to be the most powerful gang. They're taking the land of another gang member's territory. It's still fighting for the same things.
Yeah,
it's just on a much smaller.
No, it's not, and sometimes it's not territory. That's why I said some of it is for clout. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't went out west, out south, and Yeah, I'm
Well,
out south, out west,
that
in
cloud
Bellwood.
is
But in Bellwood, what I noticed is when I hit high school, a lot of these guys was not like in the suburbs, you know, that's the west suburbs. And it's not like the white suburbs, it is predominantly black. But when I noticed in high school, they was adapting to this mentality. It's like, bro, you don't even got a block. We don't have blocks out here in Bellwood where you sell weed at. You know what I'm saying? It was literally for clout, and it was kind of
Bellwood is the hood. The Bellwood been the hood for
no,
a
May.
minute.
You probably thinking about Maywood, but Bellwood was not really like that. Like when we was younger, we didn't have like when I used to go out west and kick it with my dad and them on the weekends, I seen people fighting at the park, getting down at it, like kids staying outside by themselves to 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. Bellwood, you come out to Bellwood at 9 o'clock at night, the streets are clear. It's not like how it is in the city where these little boys are on the block for all the way at nighttime hustling. Some little boys was just delivering packs on the street while he was supposed to be in school. So what I'm saying is the extent is different. Like what Ty was saying is like they're fighting for territory, they're fighting for this. Where these dudes out here, they don't have no, they doing it. A lot of dudes out here started for clout. Like it was literally for clout. There was no money, money behind it. It was no land behind it. It was just to say I was the toughest.
Well, Dad, the clout is being deemed as respect for them. So that is the territory in a sense. Now I will say this in agreement with what Ash is saying to her point, right? At one point within the culture of Africans, right? We innately, Black people are more forgiving. I forget what tribe exactly it is, but there was a guy that came to Spain. He came from Spain to Africa, right? That tribe, they welcomed him in. They gave him a position of power within the tribe, and dude went back to Spain and said, "Hey, I got some guys out here in Africa that I'm on board with." Came back, paid them off for some slaves, took them back, came back again, and ended up taking the entire tribe, right? And the entire time, that tribe, they were still like, oh, it's okay, we understand. They were still forgiving. And which I think that is our biggest downfall, because we're so forgiving now, and we want to be a part of white people, and we want to be accepted with them and integrated. So now we're in this position to where we feel like we have to be a part of what they got going on, instead of just being content with our own selves, right? There was a documentary on the Dylan Roof guy that went and unalived all them people at that church in Mississippi or something like that, right? The white boy. When they were on trial, the family of the 16, however many people that this boy unalived, got up in court and said, "Oh, it's okay, we forgive you." And the first responding officer, which was a white man, he said, when they said that, I couldn't believe that. I could never forgive somebody that did something like that. So I do agree with you in that sense. We're way too forgiving to where we allow for people to just run over us, and then we don't do anything. But if we do it to ourselves, we gonna tear the block up. So I give you that, but I think that that's our greatest downfall.
I don't see it as a downfall necessarily, because also if you look at Black culture, we are extremely spiritual based, right? Not even religious necessarily. We are spiritual based. We are grounded in our spirit, and it's always been like that. And I feel that we understand more than anything that forgiveness is not for the person that does something to hurt you. Forgiveness is for you. For you to forgive means that you let go of that hurt. I'll never forget what you did, but I have to forgive you in order to continue to move on. If not, I'll hold up all of this resentment and hate towards you. And I think that's one of our downfalls, is that we battle with that a lot. We don't want to forgive. It's innately in us to let that pain go. But because we are picking up white culture and they are known not to forgive, they are not bound. Well, I'm not going to say they. Some of them are not bound in the spirit. Western civilization isn't necessarily bound in the spirit. It's bound in religion. It's a difference, right? They don't preach to let things necessarily go when people hurt you that way, in the way that we need to let it go. And because of that, we fight against that feeling, and that creates anger. Because a lot of Black people hold a lot of emotions on our sleeves. We let you in easily because that's who we are. It has been a part of our downfall, but it's also been the reason we can always wipe ourselves up, get back up, and do better than other people around us. So it's all in how we use that skill. And I just feel like that's just...
I have an example.
I hear you, Ty, but I gotta disagree on that, because that has not done us any justice.
I was about to give you an example where it has. I can give you an example where it has. This one Black interviewer got an interview with KKK leader, and he knew that he wasn't going to secure him if he told him he was Black. So he ended up sitting down with the KKK leader, and when they first got there, they both was on pins and needles because the KKK leader didn't know he was Black. But the Black guy asked him, "Let me just be around you. Let me just follow you around." He was there with an open heart. The door slammed real loud, and they both jumped. And then they just started laughing after they jumped, because they realized, I don't like you because of this fear I have of you, this thought I have of you. So he continued to hang around the KKK leader, and he was a leader. He wasn't like one of the like small guys or whatever, but he was a leader. And after he kept kicking with him, at first they were calling him boy. They wasn't calling him by his name, but he continued to stay around them and give them like genuine love. Like he didn't have nothing against them. Like, I'm just trying to get to know you. Well, long story short, in the end, the KKK leader ended up renouncing himself. And then because the KKK leader was bringing him around, the people who followed him, also, you know what I'm saying, they ended up leaving too. So he ended up affecting a lot of people just by giving that one person a chance, like, and forgiving him. And I do feel like violence is necessary in some instances. And I feel like men should be able to determine it, but then they also have to learn when peace is also, it's definitely an option. I do feel like it's definitely showed the power of it over time, especially when it came from Black people, because regardless if white people want to be spiritual or not, they still have a spirit. It can still be affected, and it might not be through us, but God still has control over everybody if they really want to be a certain type of person. So I feel like once he put himself in the environment and people was actually able to get to see a Black person and get to be around a Black person and know a Black person, it really changed the thoughts of a lot of people who was actually in the KKK. So I feel like it worked in some instances. I feel like you need both. You need Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
So I think one of our problems is we'll forgive everybody else, but we won't forgive each other. We'll hold that shit like 50 Cent to the end. I think that's our problem. We'll sit there and each other, we'll do it bad, but you forget what that white boy said to you and did to you at work, and just let it go. But each other, nah. we see it now. We see a prime example of what Irv Gotti and 50 Cent going through now. Let that been somebody else go, have been squashed. 20 years ago.
Yeah, I do want to show this real quick. This was the dialogue between Micho over there, BMF. They told me you won't follow me off of Instagram, and now you managing Skilla Baby with Rocket when I brought him around you first, when you didn't have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. And human, I go through my own but I never switch up on you. F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season start. This internet throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. This is 50 Cent response. What next season, little ninja?
Yeah,
that's BMF.
Because think about it from 50 Cent point of view, why would I want anybody around that be paid off? People could buy you. That's how 50 seeing it. Like, people could buy you. I get what Lil Meech saying, like, he helped him with his bills and his family. But obviously 50 Cent really not fucking with dude in real life. I don't think he would have, you feel me?
Because if that was the case, if they were as close as Lil Meech is saying, then why didn't 50 give his daddy the money to pay his bills until then? Why did he have to go outside of 50 to even go to anyone else to ask for that?
Maybe 50 paid him for his work. So 50 is a big person on, I will put you in positions to win, but if you don't make the right investments, that's on you. 50 Cent makes that known very well. I will put you in positions, I will get you the education, but I'm not going to do it for you.
But no, look.
When you hear that,
when he was saying that about his son, he said the same thing about his son. He put his son in positions to win and gave him ideas, and his son was not. His son like, no, give me money, and he like, no, I'll give you the education, I'll give you the resources, but I'm not just handing you no money.
The only way for 50 to have, the only way that 50 would be able to make BMF and use their actual names is if he paid them off. So he hit their hands. He for sure hit Meech's hand. There's no way that he made a whole entire show using his name, his brother name, knowing the story. He hit their hand. So there's more to the story for sure. So I with that, I kind of understand where 50 is coming from. Because again, if I was shot 9 times, potentially by a nigga that probably know me, he know that my grandma stay here. You know what I'm saying? If this is my experience, then hey, I don't know if you gonna try and set me up too.
Carry it.
So I mean, we gotta keep it we gotta keep it a buck here. I understand you women, y'all never lived that life. You know, you know, Ash, I know you was kicking it on the block with some Crips here and there. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got your little feet wet or whatnot. You know, you thought you was, hey, let me hit the blood. Let me hit the blood, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But when you actually in that life, when that shit is real, you know what I'm saying? When you done had homies transition, they no longer here, and you watch them go out. Oh, you got to move a certain type of way. So I mean, it's messy as hell, but I can't knock them for doing it.
So I understand what everybody's saying, but I definitely did. Growing up, I lived a fast life. Thank God for my kids, right? And thank God for deliverance. But like I said, I was around all of that. So I was in the gang, stealing cars, selling drugs. Had a whole bunch of my friends pass away by 16. So I've been in it. You get what I'm saying? And if I never said those things, right, and y'all not from my city, so you wouldn't know who I was associated with or the things that I do in my community. You wouldn't look at me and think those things about me because I've changed, right? I didn't want to be that way. I learned at a young age, like, nah, this ain't for me. You know, by 16 years old, I already had 3 friends that died. So that, you know, that's not something that everybody deal with as a teenager. First of all, I'm gonna read the comments in a minute because y'all is like cracking up.
Okay, the comments.
I was addressing law. That's all.
But what I wanted to say was, it's just kind of, it's business. Like, if I gotta feed, like, Rick Ross wasn't the person that shot him 9 times or set him up. They had their own little beef or whatever the case may be. But if I need to feed my family, and right now the money or the advance that you gave me not doing that, and Rick Ross is saying, hey, yeah, maybe we can do business together. All right, you being my friend, all right, hey, yeah, I'm gonna do this business with Rick Ross, but this don't have nothing to do with our friendship. I don't feel like that. Like,
no, I feel like it has everything to do with friendship.
From the street, and you got that type of beef, a nigga from the street not going for that shit. I remember my BD used to be so mad at me. When I say so mad at me, that I would get back cool with some of my friends, because he like, I do this shit life and death. I'm like, it's life and death for you. Me as a woman, it's not like I can be the bigger person. We can talk about this, but niggas in the street, even my brother, he would try to forgive certain people, and he like literally lived in the street. Like, he didn't have a mom or dad to, you know, really go to. When he got 18, I let him stay here for a little bit. But when I see how he had to think, he wanted to think like, okay, I'm gonna be the bigger person, had a bigger heart. And then he'll come home like, bruh, I just had to beat my friend up and take his gun, because when you're in that type of lifestyle, your brain is just wired a different way. And I think you having money don't change the way your brain is wired, especially when you went through certain traumatic situations.
But y'all keep talking like these men are in the streets. These men have security. They are in gated communities. They be at awards shows together on
but
maybe on the opposite sides. What I'm
they got
saying
more to
is
lose though.
they're not. I get it, but they're not. What I'm saying is they're not beefing the way that y'all trying to make it seem. Like, yeah, they might have a little beef, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna shoot you. You just said they got more. Hold on, let me finish. Viv, you just said they got more to lose. They not doing all of that. They just having words. You get what I'm saying? I believe that this is why 50 Cent goes to the internet, because this is the most excitement in what it feels like a little bit, as he can stay a little close to the street as he want, because that's as much as he's gonna put his feet back into the street as he's gonna get. Like, this is entertainment to him. Like, oh, this is fun. No, he ain't no
you know they actually went, their camps went to blows.
Words can turn into other things though. We realize that, right? Words can turn into other things.
Yeah, you know that their crews actually fought before.
Somebody talking ain't turn into something different. Guess what? It was with words with Pac too, and it turned to something different when he was talking about your boy Jack. He was just talking; it was just all words until it wasn't. So you got to be careful with just saying, "Oh, it's just words." All right, then wrong words gonna take your life. Come on, Gangsta Boo.
Take that stuff.
Come on, Gangsta Boo. Ash, you should know about that.
Yeah, no, gunplay got jumped by G Unit at the BET Awards.
Can y'all hear me?
What was that?
Y'all can hear me?
I mean, we can hear you now.
Look. So look. One thing that I always talk about is women don't understand, like, a lot of times how words between men is much different than words between women. We know as men, it's only certain words we're gonna be able to say to each other before it becomes volatile and violence is involved. You know what I'm saying? What's that? The battery in the back, Lapeef?
No, this for Ash.
Oh, to get that I heard it, smoke detector.
Get that sound.
But you know what I'm saying? But people got to realize, though, 50 has never changed. You know what I'm saying? He's been the same dude since forever. People like, oh, he wrong for saying this about Irv Gotti. Y'all realize Irv Gotti and his crew's the ones that shot him up. Supreme McGriff, that's they big homie that funded their record label, right? You know what I'm saying? That sent the hit on 50 Cent. Then they jumped the man and stabbed him up in a studio. He had to fight his way up out of there. Look, at the end of the day, if we was look, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If that's our history, smoke on that pack. That's how it's gonna go. If I would feel a certain way about him if something did happen to one of his ops and he didn't act like 50 Cent. Now I feel like you know what I'm saying? Oh, it wasn't really that bad. No, it was like that. And we knew it was coming. I was waiting on his post. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, think about it. You said you would go hard if somebody talked about your grandma. So imagine if somebody actually tried to kill you and you know they tried to kill you. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going that hard for myself too. Like, nah, I ain't fucking with
like
you.
That.
Yeah. All right, it's time to switch gears. Let me get to these couple super chats. Big Ant to $11 says, so Ash, are you saying those smoke detectors are your karma? And then we also have Big Ant $10 says, guerrilla warfare is the most effective style of combat, and it comes from us. Some of the succumb, is that how you say that word? Succumb are sent to Africa to learn it. There isn't one civilization that don't know war. You just
it's SOCOM. It's a group in the army. Well, not in the army, in the military. It's a military group.
All right. Let me go ahead and play this next clip. We're going to go ahead and get into this. Trump bans the transgender women from sports. Let me go ahead and play a little bit of this.
that Marco Rubio is going to be tasked with delivering that message. So really a lot of different prongs here, Alex. You know, I think it's easy to, with something like this to say, you know, how are they going to enforce that? But it seems they really are getting down to business with it.
Well, in Mary Alice, we see the president now being surrounded by all these young children. Actually, Mary Alice, pause for a second. I want to listen in to see what he's saying right now.
You want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature, because this is, you know, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? I see that. Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out with the...
All right, so we just saw the president sign that executive order there. Mary Alice, I want to bring you back in because we see that he's surrounded by all these young children. But can you talk a little bit about the people that are in the room? We saw that backdrop. He's surrounded by women that were applauding. I mean, these are parents, students. It looks like an array. But who's in that room?
Several congressional leaders, not only members of Congress, but top leadership. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, we saw, was sitting there. It seems like some Republican governors as well. But the backdrop, yes, these female athletes. We saw that often on the campaign trail. A number of female athletes, especially at the collegiate level, who would appear on stage with then candidate and now President Trump talking about how they wanted to get trans women, biological men, out of their athletics. I mentioned this earlier, but I do think it is really important to note that we're talking about such a small percentage of athletes. Some estimates it could be as low as 30, if not maybe 50 openly transgender athletes in college sports. I'm thinking about the governor of Utah, a Republican, obviously a very conservative state, who actually vetoed a ban like this that was written in his state legislature, in part because he said,
now, I don't like Trump that much, okay? I do not.
You on mute, Gerald.
But I agree with this one. I'm not going to lie. I know it's going to be some people that's not going to like what I have to say. But I honestly feel that the entire reason why they even created women's sports was to give us a chance, to give real women athletes a chance to shine in their own spectrum. And when you start taking people that are born as biological men, I do not care how many different supplements you take to change how you look on the outside, that testosterone is still pumping through your body, and that is going to affect your performance. If women could be equal to men, we would already play against them. We don't, because physically, we cannot beat men. So it was a huge disservice to most female athletes to start putting man or transgender women in our sports. And it was killing the potential and honestly the future of a lot of these women. So I feel like that's one of the best things that he has done thus far. Honestly.
I feel the same way. I feel like men are not just physically stronger than us, but their brains are completely different. Their anatomy, the way they're built, and it was just completely ridiculous. And even though I'm happy he did that, I feel like that really wasn't that important, honestly. We need gas prices, we need rent to go down, minimum wage need to go up, groceries need to go down. I feel like he's doing a lot of BS that really, like the news reporter said, it wasn't a major like percentage of people that was joining these women, like the sports. where it was just kind of like widespread. I feel like he's just doing a bunch of shit that don't need to be done right now. Like there's other executive orders that he needs to put in place. Like I feel like what he's doing right now is just kind of things that things that kind of how he feels, like his personal beliefs or whatever, but I don't feel like it's doing anything for us as a country. Like I said, I'm happy he did that, but that's not the most important thing that he needs to do right now.
Wait, so you don't think that that's important to stop boys from competing against girls?
I do. I never said that. I said I do think that's important, but do I think that's more important than getting inflation down? I do not think that.
That takes time.
I understand that, but you're not making an executive order to do things that matter. Instead, what you're doing is dismantling other things that has that can affect us,
to get inflation down.
I'm not, I can't hear you.
He's doing that in order to get inflation down. All of the other things that he's doing that to get inflation down.
How?
So the pauses that everybody was freaking out about with with the grants and with the welfare and all that other stuff, they did that so that they can check the books to see where the money is going, to make sure that, okay, these illegal immigrants that the Democrats for the past 4 years have been giving the money, in which aids in the inflation, that's everything that he's doing.
Illegal immigrants cannot get welfare. They can't.
Hold on.
They cannot. They can't.
Hold on, y'all. Ash, what city are you in? What city are you in?
I'm in Newark, New Jersey.
All right, so I'm not sure if that's a sanctuary city, but Chicago is where most
so it's not a sanctuary city.
So listen, when I tell you,
is right now it's definitely a sanctuary city.
When they out here,
but they can't come over here and get housing and stuff like that. New Jersey, they can't come over here and get that.
For the most part,
for the most part,
from the government. The government is giving them, putting it on the link card.
Okay? I'm saying they are giving so much money to them. We're not even talking about like hundreds of thousands. We're talking about millions of dollars. And the thing is,
Chicago, I went to a city hall meeting. I'm sorry, Ty. I went to a city hall meeting last year's time. I'm not making this up. At that time, Chicago was spending $450,000 a day on housing illegal immigrants.
And where do you think that money comes from, Ash?
Do you understand that you can be?
That's not what I'm saying, right? So when I said he's dismantling things that he doesn't need to, right? When I was speaking about the Department of Education, for one, right, which affects a lot of kids with disabilities and stuff he's doing that. And a lot of
the Department of Education, look at the education they give Black people versus what they give white people. Maybe it needs to be something really done with the Department of Education.
The Department of Education.
Do you know how?
They need to be dismantled and rebuilt.
I think that.
Ash.
Wait, I'm listening. Hold up. Wait, I can only listen to one of y'all at a time.
Do you know how many Black kids drop out of high school?
I think that it is going by state because in New Jersey it actually got a lot better, especially in Newark. My kids don't even go to public school, right? But their school is probably like one of the top 5 in the country. So I think it's going by state.
So you just acknowledge. Wait down. So you just acknowledged that your kids don't go to a public school. They go to a private school.
They don't go to a private school. They go to a charter school. So charter is not private, right? It's funded differently, but it can fall under the public umbrella, but it's not public, and then it's not chartered at the same. I mean, it's not private at the same time. So it's just funded differently. Like they have private investors.
That's the only difference. The curriculum that y'all have compared to a public school. That's the only difference in your charter school. Come on now, Ash. You act like you're not aware. You making requests on certain things. Raise. You your state level. That's on the state level. That's nothing to do with federal. Your state can raise up minimum wage. Do you understand that? Look, you need to worry about what's going on as far as your governor and your mayor and your aldermen. That's what you need to focus on, because those issues
I think we need to also focus on what the president is doing as well.
So look,
and like I said, I still don't feel like that. I'm happy he did that, but I don't feel like that was should be super high on the list.
Do you see that transgender men fight women in the black community?
You're basing on right now. You got to worry about the future. It's getting worse out here for these kids and these men participate. It's going to get worse if he hadn't did what he had to do. And it wasn't just in sports. It was other things he was talking about. The transgenders cannot be involved in. That was the sports was probably the headliner, but there was other things up under that he signed for. You need to educate yourself, sister.
I said I'm okay with. First of all, I said I'm okay with that. I never said I wasn't.
All right, but you were making it seem as if it's not.
No, I said I don't feel. I never said it wasn't a big deal, because I said I agree. I think that there's other issues that needed to be taken on first before that. That's exactly what I just said.
Our education.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Look.
Right.
Hold on.
So you said inflation. Wait. Let's work this through with her at Law. So you said inflation. We just pointed out exactly what he's doing to counter inflation. So what else needs to be done?
So I said inflation, right? I said the fact that he's buying out a lot of these government official seats, right? That's what him and what is his name? Damn, Elon Musk just did, right? They're basically paying out these people for their seats, and he's going to put people in office that agrees with everything he's saying. That's not good for nobody.
That's what you heard on the news.
What did you? Where are you hearing your information? Wait, where is anybody? First of all, where's anybody hearing the information from? You're not hearing your information from somebody from directly from the White House. You're hearing your information either from social media or the news. So you can't sit here and say you are hearing your information from the news. Where are you hearing your information? Hold on. Where are you hearing your information from? You get what I'm saying? Everybody's hearing their information from someone.
So hold on.
That information is
not incorrect. That information is correct.
That information is literally from the White House.
Like you can watch C-SPAN. You don't have to get your information from social media or Fox News. You can watch C-SPAN. You can go directly to these people's websites, and you can actually ascertain like facts and information as to what is going on. Some of us do that. I was in the military, so I'm subscribed to these people anyway. So you can get real known facts. A lot of us are not, especially the people that are informed. We are not getting our information from social media.
Look, right. You gotta also look. Hold on. Look, you gotta look at it this way too. Buddy been in office, you know what I'm saying, for about a month now, almost a solid month. So what was yesterday? When did he get in office?
The 9th, was it 19?
All right, so not even a month. In that time, he signed 45 executive orders, right? So this one today is much further down the line, and that's also an all-encompassing type deal. He's attacking some of these issues that were really causing issues for every state of our government. In our schools right now, you know what I mean? That's one of those things that they are teaching our children about, these 25 different genders and all that. Strike that from the record. That's BS. You know what I'm saying? This is going along with that. Once he struck those off the record, now it's time for him to, all right, look, that school shit we've been talking about and all these different activities that we putting them boys up against girls, we getting rid of that too. I think this is just all down the line. It's been 45 of them in less than a month. Like, Buddy been working. Granted, I didn't vote for him. I don't like a lot of the things that he does, but when it comes to this topic, that's one of the reasons why I felt like he actually made it into office again, because that was something that was running rampant in our country and really destroying the fabric of our country. So yeah, you gotta look at that.
It was so bad that we were funding these type of things. I think it's like some type of transgender event in Europe. We were sending them money to fund
multiple countries in Europe,
multiple different places, sending them millions of dollars. Once again, that only hits the American people's pockets. And if we're being honest, it's like the middle class. We are the ones that are struggling with all of this. And they will say that this is such a small group of people. It's only 30 or 40 people, but no, it's so much bigger than this when we're pushing an agenda, not only to our children, it's changing our education, it's changing how we speak. Grammar has never been so torn up and just incorrect in my life. How can you be a they? You're one person. Like, I just don't get me on a tangent with this. But I feel like, if nothing else, I'm with Law. I was not a supporter of Trump, but he has been making moves, especially when it comes to that I can get behind. I 100% agree with everything that he is doing right now. And I think that all of his orders are going to go to something that is much bigger and is going to affect us in a much larger way. And a lot of money is going to come back to America, where we don't have to worry about paying all of these taxes to replenish the money that we're giving out to all of these different organizations that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Nor support.
And what I want to say is, Trump, the Democrats been in office for what, the last 16 or the 20 years? Trump is the first person that has acknowledged that the 14th Amendment was meant for free slaves. They have literally been using the 14th Amendment to anchor babies. The 14th Amendment was not meant for you to cross the border over here, swimming or however you got here, and then you have a baby, then boop, it's a citizen and they can just have all the benefits. That is not what the 14th Amendment was set up for. Nobody has ever acknowledged that but him. So that was one of the things that was like, well, he's not only doing this, and this, but he's acknowledging that, you know, something that stood for me, because I'm foundational Black American, right? So something that stood out for me was, dang, he's acknowledging that this law was meant for free slaves in America. This law was not meant to anchor babies, because these babies, because I know I have a person, I know I have a friend. She's from Honduras, right? Born in Honduras. She, you know what I'm saying? Her parents came over here. Her mama was in this country for, I want to say 27 years, was never a citizen, and was able to buy a whole damn house, G. Like, they were homeowners. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, certain things don't make sense when we know that it's people that's been in this country for years that don't own homes. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that to me it doesn't make sense. It takes away from I know everybody want to live the American dream, but I feel like we literally built this country from scratch, and that American dream hasn't been made possible to us.
That's because the Constitution was never written for us to benefit from it at all. Honestly,
well, it definitely wasn't meant for immigrants to come over here and eat off Black people, the people that actually worked and fought in the civil rights movement. It definitely wasn't supposed to be for that. You know what I'm saying? It definitely wasn't supposed to be for them to come over here and eat off us. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. You know
I agree with Aisha when it comes. Yeah, when it comes,
Trump ain't looking. I wasn't, you know, Trump ain't looking too bad. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, I be sending him stuff about Trump all the time. That I disagree with. I do get what Ash saying. I do feel like, one, he be paying a lot of people off. Two, he doing things behind the scene. I don't think he's as straight as the Democrats try to pose themselves to be. But obviously, it's showing that even though the Democrats pose themselves to be this type of, you know, straightforward and everything, they're not, just based on how they've been doing things. They just use us as like a front stool. But one thing I could say is Trump is doing everything he said he was going to do when he first got in office. The thing I don't agree with that I think was senseless, and because at first I'm like Department of Education, but it kind of hit on the head. Like, okay, maybe he's dismantling it. He said, let's give those rights back to the state. Let them choose the curriculum that's best for their people. When he said that's what dismantling the the Department of Education would do. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's the reason why so many Black neighborhoods that's on the low, the federal government had control over the curriculum. That's why they all probably looking the same. But if it goes back to the rights of the states, that'll make a change. But I don't like the DEI situation, because he blamed those crashes on DEI. I feel like to get rid of it, because there hasn't been a commercial plane crash since 2009. All of a sudden, you get in office for 30 days and there's 3 or 4 of them. Not to mention the plane crash coming from United Airlines from Lagos. It wasn't even like they just literally dropped, like had a sudden drop into center, and they had to turn around and go back and get a new plane because it was obviously something wrong with the plane. Like there was technical difficulties that United Airlines hadn't experienced. So I do feel like Trump is overall, I feel like Trump is a blessing in disguise. I think that he's not technically doing anything to hurt Black people. I feel like what he's doing can actually put us in a position to win, just like how he got the immigrants out. What he was doing for women, I don't know if y'all are looking at what's being marketed to the younger Black media, but they have trans women fighting women, and these women going up against him like, okay, you are a woman and it don't matter because like it's okay for them to do the same things we doing. They calling us cis women. It was just, I think everything was just getting to a point where it's like, okay, if we say we're gonna live under God, and I forgot what the quote is that's on the dollar, but in God we trust. Let's keep it. We have to go back to some old school ways, and I think Trump is bringing back the old school. And he knew he's like a lot like 50 Cent to me. He's gonna market to the audience that's gonna pay for his agenda. So he did. I feel like what he's doing is a business move. I don't feel like it's nothing against Black people, but it's to make sure that the right people are supporting him.
I want to say this, right? I don't mean no disrespect to anybody. When has any white government official ever did anything that makes that that put Black people in a position, right, to allow us to win? Anytime Black people, right, we can go look at the Tesla, wait a minute, hold up, Viv, I just started talking, right? When we look at the Tesla Oklahoma bombing, right, anytime we start to build and create our own economics and build ourselves up to wealth, the white government, right, the same government that you guys are so easily willing to trust because they're doing a certain amount of things.
Nope.
I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican either, right? But I'm smart enough to understand and look at the history of how America is. They have never put in place a foundation for Black people to benefit in a way for us to win. What they have done, even in our communities, right? When it came to them giving us vaccines, right? Those vaccines weren't to help us. They came in our community saying, "Hey, we're going to help you. We're going to see this. You got the whole time it was making us sick." When it comes to our food, when it comes to putting us in what is called the projects, you guys know why the projects is called the projects, right? All of these type of things, and then they just discovered something called epigenetics, right? Where it's literally, they just found out that you inherit trauma through your DNA, right? And it literally changed the damn, I'm trying to find the right word. It literally changes your DNA and it makes it malfunction. So the fact that you guys are just so trusting of this government, right, because they're doing certain things. No, he also picked one of the, I think it was the governor of Florida, the same type of man that has shown so many times that he's super racist and prejudiced towards Black people, where he has been removing Black history from the school curriculum. They do not want that. So it's just kind of like, I get it.
Wait, hold on, Aisha.
But at the same time, it's like,
hold on, Aisha.
Oh, they racist.
Wait, Aisha, hold on.
They are racist. On both sides.
All right. So you said what has the government done for Black people, right? So first off, we can easily just point out the Civil Rights Act. That's clear and evident.
We forfeit that. We forfeit that.
Oh yeah, and I don't like the fact you stop taking
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish, Di. Wait, slow up, Di. But they gave us that, right? So you just saying, what did they do? That's one thing. Another thing that I can speak on personally, I was a convicted felon for 12 years in the Illinois Supreme Court, which more than likely has white people on it, a good amount of white people on it, said that ruling was unconstitutional. So now I, as well as many other black men that was in the same exact boat that I was in, now have a second chance, right? So you bring up the Tulsa thing. Absolutely. We can bring up so many examples in the past, but the fact of the matter is now is that we have so many striving black communities all throughout America that is growing, is strong, is powerful. We have so many black people, black women in government. The problem is, and you pointed out the vaccines, and I'm glad you pointed out the vaccines. This last administration, they were pushing the COVID vaccine on black people so hard to the point where they had Juvenile remake one of the most influential and known songs.
Vax that ass up.
In black community, in the black community, telling black people to go get the vaccine. They were making ads in songs saying, if ladies, if he don't have a vaccine, don't give him no pussy. But
what I'm saying is,
no, let me finish. I'll let you talk. So all of what you're saying, I agree with. But the problem is that when the Democrats, the people that you support, essentially, when they were doing it, nobody was saying nothing. It wasn't weird then. Wasn't nobody thinking then, damn, why the fuck they got Juvenile recreating, back that ass up and replace it with get the vaccine? Why are they pushing black people to go and get? They even finesse the pop the balloon thing, the balloon show. Oh, you ain't got a vaccine. You ain't get the vaccine. Pop. Why are they marketing this to us and forcing us to get it? You want to know why? Because niggas is stupid. Niggas is gonna fall for the okie doke. Oh, well, they told us to go get it, so yes, sir, master. That's the problem. See, but the issue is that Trump, he's the one that's saying that America, by the Constitution, America is not supposed to be ran by the federal government. It's supposed to be the state, because the state is represented by the people. The people have the power. That's why he was saying it's not a federal thing for us to say, oh, everybody can't have a deletion. You can't delete babies. He said it's up to the state. But niggas didn't want to hear that. They only heard, oh, we can't delete babies. If you want to delete a baby, go vote for it. Just like all the other states that you can go and delete a baby in. So what he stands for is having a smaller government in which the Constitution was built off of. But niggas don't want to listen to that because we're so caught up on hating Trump for a reason that we don't even know. Well, black people don't even have a real reason why they hate Trump.
I never said that. I also want to say this. I said I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I literally said that. I said I don't trust the government. I feel like the Democrat and the Republic are the two different faces on the same coin. That's how I feel.
That's fair, and I agree.
I don't feel like Trump is a savior and gonna come in. I don't and save black people. I don't look at it like that. I look at like I said,
Trump is our savior, though. We agree with certain policies.
No. So when I say like savior, I'm not meaning all of you. From what I've seen collectively on the internet, right? Because I follow a lot of like Christian pages and stuff, and I had to unfollow because I just didn't like it. So what I'm saying is I look at some of the stuff that I do agree with him on, and then I look at stuff that I'm like, nah, I don't agree with that. And I don't necessarily feel like later on down the line it's going to benefit black people. And then another thing to what Viz said, right? When he said that when we try black people, right, we try to include ourselves. It's like we have this big fascination on inclusion. And I believe it was Martin Luther King that kind of, right before he passed away, he kind of said that was one of the things that he regretted because he felt like he led his people into a burning house, right? And it was just kind of like we're so fascinated on being included into this culture, right? That wasn't built for us. It does not benefit us. But when we kind of make and create our own things, the lot of us can succeed. Look at Atlanta, even though it's populated with, whatever it is. But
Ash, do you know how many black millionaires there are now?
Yeah, it's a lot more.
So what? I don't understand the problem then. The reason why there's a lot more black millionaires, right, is not because they're working for somebody else. It's because they actually have their own business. There are a lot of entrepreneurs, which is what I'm saying. Like they're creating their own lanes. They're not trying to be America
included.
Is built off of. That's what America is built off of.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, so
I agree with
to me, what it sounds like to me, I don't know why, I don't know how it happened, but at some point we got so convinced to be victims, and I think that that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to us. All the entire the last administration, everything that they ran off of was a victim mindset. Kamala ran off of we're not going back. That is some victim ass shit. That's a victim ass mindset. We're not going back. Where are we going back to? How can we go back? There is no going back. You can't go back. We're already here. So we've been conditioned to be victims, and it's hindering us from becoming and being greater. And that's the problem, because we have to stop pushing this weak ass narrative. We have to be able to move forward and look forward to what it is that we can do and achieve. At this point, there's no excuses. There's nobody holding us back. We got plenty of black people in all throughout offices. We got black people in legislation. We got black people in local government. We got black people on the Supreme Court justices. So who is holding you back? If we have all of these examples, at that point, to me, there's no excuses.
Systematically, it's still a lot of hurdles. Let's not act like it's all.
One page, if we present those laws to both offices,
thank you, Chicago.
Go through with it.
Law. Systematically, yes, there are a lot of hurdles, but there have always been a lot of hurdles. You can't tell me that you have more hurdles now in 2025 than we had back, let's say 20, 30, 40 years ago.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's why I agree with Viz to a certain degree. And that's why when we had that live podcast and I was going back and forth with the young lady and she brought up
live podcast.
Impressive. You were there, Law. You were sitting right next
to me. Which one you talking about?
When we were in Chicago.
We always in Chicago. Ty from the shop. What we talking about?
A seat at the table. When
a seat at the table put on by the homie Lapeef. That one?
Yes.
That was a nice event. This show. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Throw it out there.
So, yes, when we did that event and the young lady was talking about how we are still oppressed by the white man, I hate that rhetoric. Because how many times do we as Black people have to prove that nobody can hold us back but ourselves? Nobody.
I get
the whole community.
Nobody's gonna save us.
I agree with that notion. Give me a second. The whole community that Aisha, the whole community.
We've been doing it, Aisha. We can't. We've been doing it.
Oh my God. That is not a logical way of looking at things, right?
The whole community that Ash was talking about.
For somebody to say, because I sincerely don't have a victim mentality, right? I am a very logical thinker, and I look at numbers. So if you're just going to put things in a numbers perspective, then you would know that we don't even have a chance. You know what I'm saying? So to even say like, oh, we're putting ourselves in this victim mentality, that's not true. Because technically they are light years ahead of us. So nobody's saying we're being victims, but we just can't negate or
reality.
Oh my God, we should be doing this.
Yes, reality. We live in a reality right
now. How many light years ahead of us?
I'll give you how they're light years ahead.
Light years ahead. That's fine.
Yeah, light years ahead because we steadily looking for them to help.
Every single time Black people
nobody's looking for help.
That no matter how far ahead anyone is ahead of us, if we decide that we want to accomplish something, we want to become something, we want to start a business, become a millionaire, become a billionaire, whatever that is, we're going to accomplish it. The only thing that holds Black people back is Black people. The only thing that holds us back from accomplishing what we want to accomplish is Black people. We once had a man that was a slave who could not read. They wouldn't even allow him to open books. This man taught himself to read, created a whole curriculum, taught masses, and we're going to sit here in 2025 and continue to say that we are being held back by some white man? Yes, they are ahead of us. Yes, they have generational wealth. Why don't we? Because we're too busy having this conversation instead of creating it. We're too busy worrying about who's holding us back instead of actually educating our masses. We are too busy worrying about who is going to give us something rather than creating it ourselves. The reason why so many people in the Black community are on aid today is because somebody gave it to us for free and we decided to pick it up and live with it. And instead of us growing from it, we pass it down generation by generation by generation. My mother works for the state. But we have a smaller community of people. In percentage, if we're talking about statistics, we're a smaller group. It should not be as many of us that are dependent on aid when we don't have to. We're choosing to be. Did I say that? We're talking about Black people. Once again, deflecting. We love to deflect. Let's focus on what we're talking about. Let's focus on what we're talking about.
Ladies,
nobody on here is a victim. Yes, they are ahead of us, but we can decide to move forward and continuously prove that.
Look what we're doing right now. We continuously prove it. Enough to listen. To stop to listen to one another.
No, I keep cutting people off.
Aisha, hold on.
I couldn't get my
Aisha, give me a second. Give me a second. We can't even respect each other enough to give each other enough time to land our thoughts. How the hell we gonna ever overcome anything like that? White man ain't gotta do shit no more. He sit back and just watch us act a goddamn fool. He ain't gotta do shit. He sit back laugh. We ain't gotta do nothing. These Negroes don't know how to act. They can't even get along enough to at least let each other finish. We just start talking to each other. The audience can't understand it. Nobody can. So how about we respect enough to lead, be an example of what we're trying to do, and giving each other some grace. Can we do that, ladies? Right on.
I get what Aisha is saying, and I get what Ty is saying, but I think that if we keep pushing for like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. At this point, we have to, because the way that media changes, like, why not continue to do what our ancestors did, especially since now we have more minorities here that could help us, that we can guide, that we can help. If we don't help ourselves, nobody's going to help us. And that's how I really feel. At this point, we're our own demise by people selling out. It's a lot of people that's college educated, but still decide to go sell to these record labels and be a certain example. When you look at our media, like the media that's being pushed, because most kids don't watch TV, they watch YouTube. So the most popular thing amongst kids right now is Zeus, and now there's TV. And if you look at that content is really bad. And it's like when it comes down to white people, they're not going to allow that type of content to constantly be published. They're going to go to their lawmakers. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to come together and be like, hey, I don't want this. And they're going to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing until it's taken down. But you don't see the violence against themselves as much as you see the black violence in the neighborhood. I do understand what got us here. I do understand conditioning. I understand all of that. But when a lot of people above us are being bought out, that's what's continuing to hurt our communities. We all have to come together and say, these shoes not going to be important no more. These certain clothes is not going to be important no more. This is not going to determine my value and who I am. And then we also have to stop putting prideful, like the men that's being praised, especially that's like pushed to the younger generation. We have to change that. We have to change who our leaders are and who's influencing our kids the most, because like I said on the previous podcast, it's not the people we want to influence our kids. My daughter know about Jasmine Crockett, but most of the kids in her school know about Natalie Nunn before they know about Jasmine Crockett and women with actual quality education. And like I said, I'm kind of still in the hood, you know what I'm saying? So I see what's keeping us down and the conditioning that was brought upon us, but we can't expect people who put us here to help us get out.
Look, before I get up out of here, Joe, I want to go ahead and just kind of touch on why I do disagree with Viz on some points on that. Y'all got to remember, look, in order to get ahead, you need equity. You need some type of financial backing, right? You know what I'm saying? We were purposely held out of that said financial backing. So we are starting off behind the 8 ball as a whole, right? So we have to claw tooth and nail a bit harder than anybody else. Now, I'm not saying that's why we can say they have leagues ahead of us. Right now, we talked about it in King Talk maybe last Tuesday, right? I put up a graphic of this lady, older white lady, lost over 800 properties in Chicago alone, right? Because she had to file bankruptcy. How do you think she got those 800 properties? It wasn't from hard work and perseverance. She didn't pull herself up by her bootstraps. It was given to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like none of us can honestly say any of that was given to us. So that's why it's a very different ball game. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that's going to hold on. Look,
those properties can we go buy them?
We can now, but here's the thing, Viz.
What's the problem being, bro?
Hold on, Viz.
Go ahead. My bad.
Who has that capital already? You know what I'm saying? You didn't have the capital from the inheritance. You didn't have the capital from the land that your people had, you know what I'm saying, and gave down to you. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not an even playing field. I can't turn around and take an inheritance and go buy those 800 properties or buy 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a different ball game. We were put behind the 8 ball. So I do got to ride. I wanted to kind of throw that out there, but go ahead, y'all.
How many on this panel, how many of us know a real estate agent or somebody that owns real estate property? Everybody. So again, if I understand what you're saying, I get it, I agree, but that's the past, bro. Right now, what can we do right now? If we all know somebody that owns at least one property, and I know a couple people that own a few properties. Mm-hmm. So what's the excuse at that point? if we just saw the list, you shared the list. You said it's 800 properties on there.
I'm saying the capital to buy them, though, bro. The money to actually buy them.
If we just acknowledge that we all know somebody that owns properties, the capital is there. You shared the entire conversation kicked off with you showing us how much money the Black community spends. So just imagine if we invested those trillions of dollars into real estate. But guess what? Instead, we want to talk about what happened in the past. Fuck what happened in the past. We're right now in the present. All that we could do is move forward.
But bro, we talked about real quick before I get up out of here. Bro, we talked about also how we know 90% of the Black income goes to living expenses. We don't. Most of us. Hold on, wait.
Excuses, bro.
It's not an excuse. It's actually a fact, bro. You know good and well. If you pay your car insurance, who does that go to? Does that go to a Black-owned business? No. If you pay your car note, does that go to a Black-owned business? No. When you pay your mortgage, does that go to a Black-owned business? No. So after that, you have maybe 30-40% of your check left. Are you gonna go to a Black-owned grocery store? How many of those are there? A gas station. How many Black-owned gas stations are there? Come on, bro. It's not by choice that our money is spent elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's really just the financial strain that we're in.
Can we agree that we have to? The only way to accumulate wealth is by taking steps, correct? You got to take baby steps to it, right? So if we all know as grown adults, we all know real estate agents, people that own properties, owning land is one of the most beneficial things that you can own. So we don't have insurance companies. There are some out there. There are some out there.
It's insurance agencies. I'm saying companies, like the name of the company.
There has to be some insurance companies out there, bro. The same way that there are banks out there as well. But just how we discussed, niggas don't support them. We just talked about how Roseland. I'm gonna land it right here. We just talked about how all of these communities in Chicago were Black communities with all Black businesses throughout it. And what do they look like now, bro? They're ghost towns. Why is that? That's because of us, bro.
Go ahead, Ash.
All right. I want to say yes. I want to say if you guys look at your community, right? Who owns most of the houses? And it is a lot different, right? It's not Black people. And it's not that way. It's by that way by design. I guarantee you, most of the houses is owned by Jews, right? And just because you own a house does not mean that you own the land. It's completely different, because you can own a house and then the state and they can still own the land. You get what I'm saying? So you said that the past isn't important, but it is. Because if you know your history, you know what to look out for. You'll see that they playing the same exact game. So back in slavery time, right? What they would do is they would have like a little lottery thing where they will make only a certain amount of slaves free, which will give them the hope of, oh, maybe one day I can be free. Give them a little bit of contentment. That's exactly what they're doing now, right? You see some millionaires, right? You see, which gives the idea that, okay, maybe one day I could be a millionaire too. But guess what? You're a millionaire, but you don't own anything. You don't own anything. It's millionaire. What I'm saying is you don't own anything as far as like actually having ownership, right? If a basketball player, they could be millionaires, but guess what? They don't own the teams. They don't own the NBA. The same thing, right? I think Jay-Z was speaking about this. Where he was just trying to start owning certain type of things. Even Dave Chappelle was speaking about it. Cat Williams was speaking about it, right? They don't make it, they don't give you the space where you actually can own something. They'll allow you, or a certain amount of them, to be millionaires. But guess what? When it comes to actually owning shit that matters, that you own, they can't take from you, they're not putting you in that position. Kanye West even just went through the same thing when he became a billionaire and he created his shoes. And guess what? They still fucked him over because he did not own Adidas. He had to go through them. So what we're saying is that there
He
is
owned it
systems.
too.
There
What
are
are you talking
hold
about,
up.
Ash?
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. There are systems placed where, yeah, there's they allow a little bit of us, a little bit of financial freedom, but there is still a matrix. My time is up. That's all I wanted to say.
Ash.
No, hold on. Let's go to Ty. Go ahead, Ty.
The man owns Yeezy.
I completely understand that history does play into our reality, right? It has something to do with what we go through now. But I feel like we tend to focus on the parts of history that keeps us oppressed instead of focusing on all of the parts of history that shows that we prevail regardless. Also, during slavery, there were slaves who were given their land for a penny because their masters were afraid and ran away. So they owned that land for a penny. White people came over and decided to give them money for the land. And because Black people didn't know about money, we were uneducated, we took the money and gave up the land. That is something we still do today when there is no excuse for it. There's too much out there to be educated on. We decide to not educate ourselves or to not take in the information and take advantage of it. My grandfather, my grandmother's father owned multiple properties. And all of that went away due to lack of education and us not educating our children on how to take care of that. Instead of going after the things that are important, like building financial and generational wealth, we focus on material things. That's why I say we hold ourselves back way more than any oppressor can hold us back. We do it to ourselves. There's not a lack of information out here. We're in 2025. You can go out and find any type of information and find a way to make something happen. But instead, you place it with excuses and what happened in the past instead of taking also what happened in the past and using it to prevail our land.
I honestly still disagree. I feel you to a certain extent because I understand what you're saying, because I don't think that I'm using what happened in the past to still be oppressed. That's not even realistic, right? But I think that us acknowledging it somehow does something to Black people, right? I'm not going to change facts. It literally states here, right? You can look this up. Systematic, because what I will point out is that my mom, right? She's 70, right? So she was the direct effect. Like she did all of that. She was with Opal in Fort Worth. They marched back then for Juneteenth way back in the day, right? So my mom is a rider, right? So I grew up around riders, right? But my mama honestly understood systematic oppression. She always told me, my grandmother was born in 1925, and what she told me was, we never wanted to be mixed in with the white people. We just wanted the same opportunities. When they integrated schools, that's what messed up everything for everybody, because we really didn't want to be mixed in, right? Because once that happened, that's when the systematic oppression happened of our people. And that wasn't but 30 years ago. Y'all be talking like this shit was 150 years ago. This is still recent. So the ramifications of that still exist today. Yeah, do we have a class of people that are a degenerate class? Yes, everybody does. But we also have people that are doing things and that are making things happen. So for you guys to make any kind of negative connotation to be like, Black people ain't doing this and we need to be doing that. No, it's absolutely a class of people that are doing those things, right? We doing those things despite systematic racism. It's not because it doesn't exist. And I also think that we should continue to actually acknowledge it. And I'll end.
I'm gonna just say this real quick and grab some wine if I can.
Well, I just want to say this just real quick. I do agree with what y'all saying about the systematic oppression and racism, but to Ash's point, if we are the ones, like for instance, look at everybody that's really signed under Jay-Z. They're mostly like Uzi doing his big one, Kanye West, billionaire, Rihanna. He put them in a position to win. He took control of the label. He took control. So I do feel like when it comes to hire people that has that type of money, yes, they should be looking to own versus being paid off. But when it comes down to us at a lower level, we have the property. When you go out west, when you go out south, it's predominantly Black. When I was living out there, you would see them fix up these homes and these complexes and give us nice property. But what do we decide to do instead? The next week, it was filled with piss. It was giving people something, equity and money, but not teaching them how to do it and how to spend it is what's going wrong in our community. Even over COVID, almost every household, and well, a lot of households that I knew, they were doing those business loans and not like they was getting $100,000 per household and was not investing it correctly. They weren't taking down, instead of these people coming into our communities and buying these buildings and putting these liquor stores in our neighborhoods, we should be buying them out and filling it with mini markets. So then we can do a bigger grocery store. If you're not teaching, if we don't have the education, if you keep asking for equity and money before giving education to the people that's going to have to support us, then that's pointless, because you as a billionaire, Beyonce, when she was doing her clothing line, it was just seen as less than because she was Black. So when you don't educate yourselves on the importance of you as a person, your dollar, how important it is and where it goes matter, then at this point, you're going to be handing people money just for them to turn around and spend it at the other places like they've been doing. And we're not going to buy the properties that we need to buy in our community.
All right, go ahead, Hank.
So it's my turn now. Y'all said a whole lot of great things, and I appreciate that. Let me tell you what y'all not talking about, because we got the playbook. We know what it is. But when we gonna make the adjustments? We're not. We're gonna keep kicking the can down the road because we're not gonna make adjustments. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing now, just complaining and find more and more reasons why we can't do what we do. Look here, let me say this. If y'all worry about education, then y'all should be doing that with your kids. You shouldn't be worrying about them learning Black history in the white man's school. That's what you shouldn't be doing. They need, I don't have no problem with what they talking about in Florida, taking Black history out of school. It should have never been. You're going to rely on these white folks to teach us our history? Well, that's your fault. Shame on you for allowing a white man to teach us about our history. Should have taught your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers, and your great-grandmothers. That's where your history should have been taught, at home. So when you go to school and they try to teach you that bullshit, you can say, no, that's not how it really happened. This is how it happened. No, but we ain't doing that. We want that white man to teach us. Shout out to that white man. Another thing is, if our kids are not getting scholarships to go to college, don't send them to college. If our kids, let me say it again, if our kids are not getting scholarship to go to college, don't send them to college. Send them to trade school. Let them go out there and make money. I don't care what trade it is. And the trade's not based on your sex. Ladies, y'all can go be plumbers. Y'all can go be HVACs. Y'all can go be electricians. Y'all can be automotive mechanics. Y'all can do all of that. Get a trade. If that trade means I want to be a beautician, so be it. Nail tech, so be it. But we got to do what we got to do to build ourselves up. And we're not trying to do that. We're trying to find every reason not to. Look, you know how I learned about real estate? My goddamn teammate's father. He told me, he said the average Black man or Black family don't buy their first home till they're 30. I thought he was crazy. He said the average white is 25. So now they got 5 years ahead of us. 5 years of equity already built up. We trying to catch up. Why? Because, I don't want no house. I don't need a house. Another thing is life insurance. Why don't we get life insurance for us and our kids so we can pass that on as well, the property that we have when we buy a house? We're not doing that. We're not thinking about that. Why? Because I got to get that $60,000 car to put in front of that project-ass apartment I'm living in. You think that makes sense? Hell no. But that's what we do. Instead of doing just the opposite. I understand most of us was raised on, we brought up check to check. We didn't know how to budget money. But now that we got the opportunity, you got this computer in your hand, you can find out how to work money, how to educate yourself and be financially aware, financially abreast. Go to your bankers. Your bankers have accounts in them. If you have a certain amount of money in your bank, You have a free access to accountants, but we don't take advantage of those opportunities. Once we get that knowledge, we need to share it with others. Don't let it die with our elders. Talk to your grandmother, talk to your grandfather about what they know. I know you don't think they know anything, but guess what? They could teach you something. Even though everything they may say don't apply right now, sometime down the road, it may. I landed there.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna roll out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all continue this great conversation. Ty, you weren't looking in the private chat. I was saying you was gonna sing a song for us tonight, but I guess
leave me alone. I told you I don't know.
All right, y'all, man. I'll holler at y'all. Hank, Viz, Peef, Ty, Aisha, all y'all. I'll holler at y'all.
Good night.
G-Unit.
I do want to say this though, right? Even to the people that's watching this, if y'all looking for a licensed life insurance person, hit me up in my DMs on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I work for American Income Life on the side, so I do sell life insurance. Even some of these people right here, you know what I'm saying? If y'all need some life insurance, hit me up. I got you. I'll tell y'all the difference between, term and whole.
Girl, I got American Income. Tell them stop calling me.
Be in the streets, you ain't no scammer, are you?
Definitely not no scam. Definitely not a scam.
Hey, we're going to continue super chats, man, as we get up out of here, man. Shout out to the sponsor of the show, AP, man. Definitely came through. I'm going to go ahead and
yes, sir.
Get to his things first. AP, accountability partner with the $50. Says I'm not a baller. I'm not a millionaire. I have worked tirelessly to create a specific life for my kids' future. This is all for them. I decided to not make excuses, take advantage of all opportunities. It's out here, y'all. Hink is cooking. AP again. Ty's point is to quit making excuses for bad choices. Personal story. I lived in the projects with a single mom for most of my childhood. Now I own 19 acres and I seek out Black-owned businesses to no excuses nor finger pointing. AP again with the $10 says, as for what has the government done to grow the Black community, all we have to do is go back to the opportunity zones. The problem is we Black folks didn't take advantage. That's on us, not them. Let me see. Yes. Get that one. AP again with the $10 says, all this filibuster by Democrats. Then we got the watered down version in 1964 after more deaths and fighting. So knowing what I know, there's no way I can support them Dems. There are 2 coins, not one. Let me go ahead and get to Big Ann 11. $10 says, so as you're saying, these smoke detectors are your karma. Big Ann 11 again. $10 says, guerrilla warfare is the most effective style of combating. It comes from us. I read this already, didn't I?
Yeah, you read that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. AP $10 says, hey panel, what's good? First question, Ash, where is Tesla? And when was it bombed? Viz, there's a history on the Civil Rights Act. More to come, but salute to the panel. AP $20 says, first Civil Rights Act of 1866. That was the foundation for the 14th Amendment. In 1959, 1960, 1961, the Republicans authored more comprehensive versions of a Civil Rights Act that gave more rights and clarity for POC. Let's welcome the YouTube member. Welcome to the P family. Ronald for the $5 super sticker. Thank you. AP $5 says, Ty. Keep cooking it up, sis. So many great points. We blame everyone else. Now Hink speaking on it. Strong arm emoji. Tracks $2 says, Anonymous Ash got a victim mindset. And lastly, Tracks again, $5 says, if systematic oppression is so bad, then why do Black immigrants do better than American Blacks? They have a language disadvantage and still do better. Want to thank everybody who has contributed to the platform. Again, welcome to the P Family Dino. And shout out to the sponsor of the show, AP, the accountability partner. Make sure y'all give everybody a follow on the panel. Check out all the amazing things they have going on. They have great perspectives, and they also have a lot of great things they do outside of the panel. So make sure y'all research, and if they do have something going in the lines with whatever it is, or have some service that you need, let's support each other all around. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Y'all make sure y'all be safe out there and catch us on the next one. We are out.